Hello, value investors. Thank you for joining me. Today I want to discuss PayPal and why I think that PayPal is an attractive investment. So, my name is Michael from Deep Value Returns on Seeking Alpha. We're going to discuss PayPal's growth opportunity. We're going to discuss one thing that I like about PayPal, namely that it's a very strong cash flow generator. Then we're going to talk about one thing that I don't really like about the thesis here. And ultimately, we're going to bring this all together and talk about its valuation. So, just before we get stuck in, I think it's interesting to note that if you're into high growth names, you'll have noticed that in 2021, this pattern. Coming into February, many stocks were just rallying higher, and then when after February, at mid-February, many stocks, just high growth names, just fell. And more recently, they've picked themselves back up again. So your portfolio probably looks like this as well. It's just the market has not been very discerning, and it's just been blank statement and dumping everything. And then anytime that the market is not really willing to think, you have an opportunity there. If you're willing to do a bit more work and you stick with it, not every solution works out, but you stick at it, and some of these things work out positively. So anyway, let's continue. So at the core, PayPal's business is doing really well. So you got more active accounts, and the number of payments going through merchants continues to increase. The active accounts is great because it shows that people are using PayPal and the active accounts are not really churning out, and that's because PayPal is working on new products to get users stuck in, and it's just a stickiness of it increasing. One opportunity that's come up is crypto. Obviously, crypto is huge with a lot of users, and it just increases the stickiness of the user. And that really just transpires to users spending more time with PayPal. So that's really great. And the one thing that I wanted to note is that PayPal, despite its size, it's still growing this year at 20% year over year. So by my estimates, roughly, by Q4 of this year, PayPal will be on a run rate of approximately $30 billion. So it's pretty remarkable to be growing at $30 billion at this rate. Not many companies are able to do that. So that's just, again, so you got this diversified business, you got this global business, you have a large business. So with these kind of things in mind, you would expect it to trade at a premium relative to other types of investments out there, because just the safety of that business and the visibility that they give you. Okay, so the one thing that before we discuss the valuation that I want to put out there is that Venmo hasn't really been hasn't really taken off significantly. Venmo is PayPal's digital wallet. It competes with, let's say, Cash App or other digital wallets, and by the end of this year, it's going to be approximately 3.5% of its revenue. So even if Venmo was going to be growing at 100% for several years, it's still not going to be a needle mover for PayPal, and that's disappointing if you're a shareholder, because this had been, for the last few quarters, had been a big side of the narrative. Venmo's going to take off, Venmo's this, Venmo's that, and many meaningful shareholders that was the pitch they were going with. But ultimately, when the facts come out, it's really not going to be that significant. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I just wanted to put it out there and share it with you. Okay, so the best thing I like here is that the valuation is compelling, right? So you're paying 13 times sales for PayPal. That's really quite significant. That's great. If you look, for example, at Affirm is growing at approximately 21 times sales. So obviously Affirm is the new kid on the block. Affirm has got this buy now, pay later motto, this and that, but ultimately it's going to be a long time before Affirm is going to be generating free cash flow as consistently as PayPal has been for just so long. So yes, the growth rates at Affirm are higher, but to say that the investors are pricing in a lot of optimism is putting it quite lightly. So it's a difficult case here, but I just wanted to remind you that in the case of PayPal, it's really quite cheap. Not many, like if you look around, there's just not that many household names trading at the end of this bull market at less than, let's say, 15 times sales. There's just not many of them. I follow a lot of companies in tech space. So anyway, if you want to know what kind of stocks I own, don't forget to check out my marketplace on Deep Value Returns. You're welcome to do a totally free trial and see how that goes. And if you like it, you stick around and check out what stocks I like. And if you don't, well, at least you tried, right? So I'll see you soon. Bye.